didn't buy it. She was like, "Yeah, but you just don't have any rhythm." I said, "Have you ever heard me play?" She goes, "Yes. Well, in the beginning. Now you go out into the barn to practice because you don't want that noise in the house." So, and I think they they both came to a show that we did in Saratoga Springs, which is like just outside Albany, New York, and the opening act was Weather Report, if you can believe that.
Wow.
And it was sold out. It was packed. It was in the Reaper. When Reaper was a hit. So
Right.
probably 76 or 77, and they were sitting on the side of the stage just looking out at this huge crowd, and my mom was looking at us playing because she had never heard us play. She didn't play the music or anything at home. But she was watching the band, but my dad was just looking at the audience like, wow. So, and my mother's sisters, she had three sisters that lived in the Boston area, and we played a gig at the Cape Cod Coliseum, like right next to my Aunt Kay's house. So all the sisters, my mother included, all went there, and we treated them, VIP, Of course, they're all these old ladies now, but yeah, they, they loved it too. So, eventually, I think they saw the wisdom of letting me play,
Right. Right.
getting me that drum finally.
It's hard for a Texan to imagine. I mean, I've been to New York City. I've been to Queens. I've flown into LaGuardia,
Hmm.
but haven't traveled all over the state. But it's hard for a Texan to think about you being raised in New York with chickens. I mean, it
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
just
We had
doesn't compute.
chickens. We had a we yeah we grew crops. I mean, my dad was a maintenance engineer at there was the newspaper owned the radio station and the TV station, so he worked either whatever they wanted, maintenance. He would go and that was his job for most of his life. So, but he wanted to keep us out of trouble, so he bought some seed. He had the farm. He had a tractor. He bought gasoline for the tractor. Well, for everything, and a big old gas tank that we had to pump, with a crank,
Right.
and the tractor that we had to start with a crank.
Yeah.
An international harvester. So I was driving at 9, driving the
Wow.
tractor, because my dad hated plowing. He said it's the most boring thing in the world. For any of your listeners who are farmers, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, maybe they have laser guided ones or something, but to try and keep that line straight,
Yeah.
all the way back and forth, like
Yeah.
hundreds of times.
Oh man.
Of course, for a 9-year-old, it was heaven.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It was heaven. I couldn't believe that they gave me this responsibility. It was awesome.
That's probably a lot like when I was a kid growing up and I couldn't wait to get my hands on that lawnmower.
Yeah.
I would watch my dad and I would walk behind him. I couldn't wait till the day I could get my hands on that lawnmower. Well, the day came. I got my hands on that lawnmower and I mowed and I was king of the world. I mean, I was actually cutting grass with this blade that was moving, so fast.
Yeah.
I thought I was something. And then I spent the rest of my life trying to figure out how to get rid of that lawnmower.
Oh yeah.
It was a momentary
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
happiness.
I got there with the tractor as well.
Yeah.
Especially I got caught by the cops breaking into somebody's place. It was like a mansion, and nobody had been there for years. So, me and few of my friends, I had this great idea. Let's go and see what's inside. We're not going to take anything. We're just going to look. So we go in and we find a window that's open and jimmy it open and go inside, and then we find these stairs that like go up to the to the first floor, but it was heavy and we couldn't push it up. So all of us were three of us, So we all pushing, and then you can hear there was a table on it, and it slid off the thing. So it was being held down by the table, but there was a vase on the table, and the vase didn't fall, and it didn't break. Nothing broke. I don't know how we got that thing off there without breaking anything, but we didn't. So we're just walking around, looking around, and one of the guys, not me, goes over to the window, and he sees like this little box there, and it's connected to some wires and stuff, and he picks it up. It's the burglar alarm. So all of a sudden there's a siren, and we're just like zoom down the basement, out the window, run back to to my house, and we're sitting there. We got a little clubhouse in the back, right? And we're sitting there, and we hear the siren still going. Finally, it goes off. Ah, good. Finally, they turned it off. Well, I guess we can go home. We start walking up the road to the house, to the farmhouse, and there's a local cop walking down. Says, "They saw you do it, boys. Don't even say you didn't do it. Those ice fishermen saw you."
Oh, man.
I said, "You mean Franny Wagner?" "Yep. My girlfriend's father."
Oh.
I was not that young. I mean, I should have known better. But so I had to cut the lawn. I didn't know it at the time. They were owned by a group of nuns. It was going to be like a convent. I don't know that it still is anymore, but it's still there. But so I had to cut their lawn, which was about 5 acres.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but I was no push lawnmower. I had the tractor. I just drove the tractor down the street. It was about a mile away.
That's still some serious community service there.
Yeah. It was like every week for a whole summer. It was like, I don't know, a dozen times I had to cut it. So yeah, and just like any other time when I would get in trouble with other people, nobody else had to do that. Of course, it was my brilliant idea to do it too, so I suppose
because all that drummer in you. Drummers. You've heard about drummers, right?
Yeah, well, I don't have a criminal record, at least, so
Well, that's good.
It's been expunged.
What did you lose the girlfriend?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't because of that. She was just,
It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So you guys really converted the barn and did barn dances?
Yes, that's right. That was a big thing. That was only the last 2 years, but we got this idea to tear out everything but the stalls where the burrows. We had 2 burrows that we used to torture. and yeah, so I was playing my drums in there anyway because I couldn't play in the house. So I was playing there, and I'm like, what if we made this into like a club? So then we had to get a license. We had to do a lot of research and get a license and pay, and we had a certain capacity, and we had to pay for the license fee. But and we would charge like, I don't know, 25 cents or something, but we would get a couple hundred kids, so it was cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and we sold sodas and candy and popcorn and stuff.
And you were quite the entrepreneur.
Yeah, the whole family was involved, like all my
Really?
Yeah, my brothers, my sister. And the only thing, we didn't have a bathroom, so there had to be somebody in the house.
Oh.
Our house, because of a big family, we had 2 bathrooms, so somebody had to show them where it was and make sure that stuff didn't disappear or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was always somebody in the house. But yeah, that was amazing. We sold out like every show. It was like there was hundreds and hundreds of kids,
Wow.
be there.
So how did Nellie and Pedro, how did they take to the new,
Well, when we had the dances, they were outside. They were out in their little fenced-in area there. It was actually pretty big, so they enjoyed that. Nellie was Nellie was the mother, and she really did yeoman's work. She was much more compliant, to like pulling the sleigh in the winter. Oh, Pedro hated that.
yeah,
Sleigh, but Nellie would do it, and they both got ridden. We had a saddle, and we'd ride them once in a while. But I think really for us, they were more like just pets. We go and talk to them and feed them and brush them, and the things that you do with an animal like that.
right.
Barside Jive shall not be responsible for any incorrect or inaccurate information caused by this broadcast. Barside Jive does assume, however, all responsibility for the satirical nature of its content and for the occasional fictional nature of its content. All characters appearing in this broadcast, even those based on real people, except for our featured guests, of course, are entirely fictional, and any resemblance between them and any persons living dead or undead is purely a miracle.